13 military submariner, and this was issued to people in the military. It actually still has the engraving on the back. I don't know if you can get a close-up of that, but generally these were issued to a military unit as part of their equipment. If you can zoom in, it's got a soldered, immovable pin between the lugs, so you can only use a NATO strap with it. So the real military guys used to use these straps. They could strap them on the outside of their jackets or their clothes, and it's very easily recognizable for a couple different ways. The triangular hands, you notice that triangular luminescence tip on the seconds hand, but also that T in the circle, the tritium mark. That was only on the mil subs, so it's just very, very cool. So whereas a regular 5513 might be $8,000, the estimate on this one in our upcoming June New York sale is $60,000 to $80,000. Just very rare. The whole romantic idea that this was used for a real purpose, it's really one of the original tool watches. And we can segue into the first luxury steel sports watch. Back in 1976 when this thing came out, it was priced really high. They actually did an ad campaign embracing that and saying, why would you spend $7,500 on a sports watch in steel? They had to really educate the consumer. The man, Gerald Genta, who designed this, designed so many other great pieces. The Patek Nautilus, the Bulgari watch, the IWC Ingenieur, so many different iconic designs that are really still relatively unchanged today. So cool. This one just came back from a long visit to the AP Spa and had many parts replaced, but not the super important parts. The dial still original, had a lot of different parts. They list and itemize which parts were replaced in the movement. It is a replacement crown and crystal. Everything else is original, including the Gay Frere bracelet. Very, very beautiful watch. Moving on into Patek, the pink on pink 533. So the 533R for rose with a pink dial. That beautiful Roman dial, the Roman 12 and the Roman 6. So great. When you activate this chronograph, works perfectly. It's a good size still. So for someone looking for a bit of a complication on a vintage Patek for less than $100,000, this is a great watch, which we recently found a good home for through private sales. And a little different, this is what's known as a transitional Rolex. So this was a transitional submariner. By that I mean Rolex used to be a really quirky company, and they would basically use up old parts when they were segueing into a new model. So this has 5512 inside the case back, and on the outside of the case it's marked 5513. So they basically were using up parts to build this watch. It's got the newer dial with the white gold surrounds. It's got a nice fading to it, and it's also known as a crazed or spiderweb dial, which basically is a nice term for a damaged, defective dial, where the paint cracked, but it cracked evenly, looking like a little crazes in it or a spiderweb. Very cool. The original big dome crystal, just a great workhorse. So that's kind of a good cross-section of some of our private sales and auction watches.